So while growing up during school and college days, you probably heard this that if you can't convince them, then confuse them. And this was the understanding about how salespeople operate. And chances are that if you heard that, you also developed a negative connotation about salespeople in general that must have put you off the sales profession by itself. But now, if you're in the sales profession, or if you're a coach, consultant, trainer, author, speaker, or if you're from network marketing or from insurance sales, where you're literally your entire paycheck depends upon the sales you make, then you will need to process this and figure out if this, first of all, if this works, if these two work back in the day, yes or no, if this works today, in today's time, yes or no. Is it ethically right? What are the ethicalities and what are the tacticalities around all of this? Okay, I'll be unpacking this for you. My name is Dr. Rajat Sinha. I'm a medical doctor turned sales coach, and when I started out in the selling profession, it took me 2 or 3 years to really get my preconceptions out of my mind and really understand sales for what it is. Okay, and sales is really deep connection and getting prospects to take action, and also getting them to invest in what they want to do, their dreams or whatever, and they have resistance at the last minute. You're the person who's going to push them into it, just like a lot of my mentors actually pushed me into my greatness. Okay, just like you want to teach a person, a little kid, how to swim, the best thing you can do for them is push them into the pool, and then they're going to figure something out by themselves. Especially if they're young kids, they pretty much figure out swimming by themselves. Okay, so one of the great aspects of sales is getting people to take action and pushing them into the action that is going to take them closer to their dreams or get them the feeling or whatever it is that they want. And a lot of it has to do with having them make the sales decision, having them invest their money in it. Okay, now let's go back to school and college days. If you're like me, you probably grew up before the internet era, and internet came around in 1990. By the time it became prevalent, I was just about starting my college in medical college time. So for the better part of my childhood, there was no internet. There was no, along with the internet, there comes decision fatigue. There comes scatter mindedness because of all of the different things. These devices are pretty much ruling us right now. And back in the day, before the information age, information was the driving factor of authority. That means if you're a salesperson, people only buy from an authority. So if you're a salesperson, you have to establish authority, and you would establish authority by giving people information. And once they realize that you have more information than them or you have more knowledge than them, generally the sale becomes more plausible, more feasible, because people obviously want to work with somebody who has a lot of knowledge and who they see as an authority because of the knowledge. Okay, now when it says don't, if you cannot convince them, then confuse them, it has to do with a lot of the variables around sales, especially around competitive advantage or competitive comparison. So when people are going to compare you, whether I should take action, not take action, whether I should take action with you or with some other company, whether I should take this particular product or go with some other product entirely, that is when the so-called confusing stage begins. And at that point, you bring in other variables that people have not thought about. A lot of people don't think about the the payables from their side or the investments on their side in total. That means if people go to buy a car, for them a car is either 3 lakh or 5 lakh or whatever it is, but actually there is a lot of different factors that go into buying a car. Let us say, if they, what are the things that they are going to buy in a car? If they've decided on the car, do they want to buy first hand, do they want to buy second hand? If they want to buy first hand, what is the best deal on the different colors? Are the colors available? Yes or no? Do they want to buy during Diwali time where the best offers are there? Do they want to buy today? What are the different dealers giving them offers on seat covers and music systems? Some of the extras that dealers throw in. What is the best offer? What are the inclusions of the offer? How much are they going to put down payment? How much are they going to finance? What is going to be the approvability? Are they going to get the finance loan? Yes or no? Okay, and what is going to be the EMI, depending on whether they take a 5-year loan, 7-year loan? What is it going to be? So there are all these practicalities and different things that go into the making of a sale. The prospect has not understood. In their mind, it's a simple yes no decision. So they assume that it's just a price game. Hey, okay, great, you gave me an offer, it's going to be 4.5 lakh rupees. Okay, now I'm going to think about it. Okay, so the parameters of what they're going to think about has to be defined by somebody, and it should be the salesperson, because hey man, you're the person in charge, you're the authority. Okay, in these cases I don't think when they say you can't convince them, confuse them. When they say confuse them, it's basically about educating the person about the different parameters of the sale. So over a period of time, the customer is going to realize, okay, you truly are the authority. You've told me so many parameters. I don't have the stamina to get into all of this, because all of the stamina they spent in the product demo and features, benefits, etc. So now they're going to trust you because you're the one who showed them all the different variables. They're going to trust you to take care of it for them. Once you do that, they truly think of you as an authority. Okay, so when they say if you can't convince them, confuse them, first of all, this saying it's not accurate. And when you say confuse them, if you are giving them more information that shows your authority, or if you're talking with them through all the different variables that's going to cost them, and they leave the decision up to you because their stamina is done, then it's a good thing for you. It's a good thing for both people. Okay, so this thing used to be, I think it's a very useful thing if you mastered it back in the day. Now what happens today? Today in the internet age, there is an era of over information. Everybody knows more than you do. People go for a surgery to a doctor and they know more than the doctor because they've done more internet research. Okay, so regardless of whether you're a lawyer, doctor, however qualified you are, more information does not build your authority, because the prospect has got more information than you. That is a guarantee. Okay, so adding more information, or when you say if you can't convince them, confuse them, if you add more information, truly you are not really doing a big favor to the client, and you're truly confusing them now. Okay, because they're already confused. They already got too much information, so much so that they are basically stuck like dead ducks, like deer in the headlights. Okay, they can't move, they're frozen. They can't take any action because their brain has become so full of different options and too much information that they don't know what is the best for them. At this point, adding information is not going to be the value. So what is going to be the value? The value is going to be subtracting the information. Instead of adding the information, it's going to be subtracting the information and getting them to the one decision taking parameter, one decision taking variable that matters the most to them today, right now. Okay, that matters the most to them today, right now. Okay, how do you do that? I'll just quickly share with you the snapshot of the Mad Money script. And in this entire thing, the only variable that you're going to introduce, the only piece of information that you're going to introduce is going to be the vehicle. Is going to be the vehicle, or maybe the result, which is the future pacing aspect. Okay, the vehicle or the result, which is the future pacing. Once you have established the vehicle, by vehicle I don't mean the car. If you're into health, any kind of health market, if you're into make money market, if you're into life coaching market, love life relationships, or any kind of skill building, if you're into any of the age of Aquarius markets, the prospect has to believe in some idea first before they believe in your product, because that particular idea is the underlying factor included in your product. Okay, in my case, I coach people on sales, but one of the most important things that people have to believe is that before you master sales, while you master sales, unless you have unlimited prospects, any kind of knowledge about sales is not going to matter, because you can only swim in a swimming pool. You cannot swim in a bucket if you learn to swim in a bucket, because if you don't have leads coming in, then you cannot master sales anyway. So one of the things that I recommend to all of my students is you need to have Facebook ads running. That means every single day 5-10 leads coming. That's how you will master sales, because you will be able to learn all that pattern recognition. So before I go ahead and take somebody for a coaching or something, I say, do you agree that an idiot with a big database can beat a genius with a small database or with a limited database? That means the supply of data is the number one thing that makes the difference between a successful salesperson and a bad salesperson. Okay, because if they come to me with 10 leads and they expect me to make them a perfect salesperson in 10 calls, that probably cannot be done regardless how much coaching I give them. Okay, there has to be a stream of people, and then you got to be batting, bowling and fielding, and then you're going to get better at the game. Okay, they have to believe in something before they believe in my product, and that is called the vehicle. Okay, so the only variable information that you're going to include in your sales call, the only thing that is added by you, that's the piece of information that you've thrown in there, is just the vehicle. Otherwise, the whole call, there is no variable. You're going to understand what is the what are the goal they have, Why do they want this goal? How much confusion they have? How long have they had this confusion? How much it has already cost them, etc., etc. So you're gonna get all of the confusion in their mind, all of the information in their mind, everything that they have done, people that they've worked with in the past, bad experiences that they've had, people who think you are a scammer because somebody else scammed them in the past, whatever it is. You're going to take all of that in the sales call, process that information, and bring them to one decision. And that decision is, hey, I'm going to throw out something. If you agree with me on this point, we can talk further. If you disagree with me on this point, then no need to talk. Okay? And that is something that we call the vehicle. Okay? That is something that we call the vehicle. A lot of my students are network marketers, that they're trying to build teams of other people who are in the business with them for the sake of a commission. And I talk to them that, do you believe that decay rate is real, that human motivation does not last, and whoever comes into your network is going to drop off maybe in 2 weeks to 2 months time frame? It's natural. 90% of your people are going to leave. It's no fault of yours. They have to say yes, 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 yes. Hey, no, I'm with such a world-class company that we have no decay rate. No, then we are not talking about the same thing. They have to say yes to that. Then I say, in today's network building, the speed of your network building should at least be able to beat decay rate. Just like your compounding should be able to beat inflation. Otherwise, you're not in the right business. They have to say yes to that. Once they say yes to that, then we can talk about what we can do. We call this the vehicle. So the only piece of information that I'm going to introduce over here, based on whatever they have told me, the only new piece of information which is a decision, hey, do you believe if I say ta 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 ta, do you believe yes or no? If you don't believe, then we don't need to talk. And they say yes, boom. Once the vehicle is in, then you've done the job, and the rest is a game of the offer, which is what is the effort, what are the guarantees, etc. So in today's, back 20 years ago, if a salesperson said, hey man, if you can't convince them, then confuse them, I think it was the right thing, because sales is not a simple process. The process of making a decision is not the simple thing, and the prospect doesn't know that already. Same with if you're a health coach. Health coach is not about having a caloric deficit and dropping some calories, because that information is already available on YouTube. The point is, they don't have the time to source the diet, the material, the food grain. They don't have the time to stick with the schedule, and they don't have the money to buy a supplement. See, that is the problem that your prospect has. So you understand that more than the prospect. So if you're giving them the variables and helping them to understand that you understand them better than themselves, that is, I don't think that is scamming or anything like that. When people say if you can't convince them, confuse them, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When you confuse them, in the sense you show them that you have more information, you know about them more than they do, they're more likely to do business with you. This happened 20 years back. Today, if you confuse them, dude, guaranteed you don't have a sale. That is a guarantee you're not going to have the sale, because the prospect is already overly confused. Okay, so our job is not to confuse them or showcase our knowledge to them. Our job is to showcase our understanding. I'm not here to show my knowledge to my prospects. I'm here to show my understanding. I understand which situation you are in, and based on which I'm going to ask questions, and based on the answers to these questions, my understanding will be verified, or I will make tweaks and corrections so that my understanding becomes clear. And based on my understanding, I'm going to make recommendations. So there is no scope for showing off knowledge, for confusing the prospect, or anything like that in today's times. So I hope that clears it, whether to confuse them or convince them, how to get this done in the right fashion. Okay, please go ahead and grab a copy of the Make Money, the Express Highway to Make Money script. I have a coaching segment on it. I have a coaching school on it. You can grab the link and get a lifetime membership in our coaching academy, where every week I will be coaching you twice a week on sales and on marketing. Okay, if this interests you, the link will be somewhere in the description. Please go ahead, hit that, and I look forward to seeing you in the Startup Frat Academy. All right, look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.